Everything is in the
We all set there.
We are recording and live streaming when you are ready, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Okay, at this time, I'd like to call to order the Hisball County Board of Commissioners Criminal Justice and County Affairs Committee. First up, we will do an approval of the agenda. Is there any additions or subtractions that need to be at this time? Kevin?
I have no changes, Chair.
Okay, we'll accept the agenda as presented. And with that, we'll go right into a call to the public. Does anybody would like to make a comment at this time? Okay, is there anybody online or?
There's lots of folks online, as you can see, but I don't see anyone with their hands raised at this time, Mr. Chairman. They're all here for agenda items.
Okay, I will close the call to the public and there will be another opportunity towards the end to make a public comment. So with that, let's dive right into the agenda. First up, consider approval of the fiscal year 25 Swift Insure Sanction Probation Program grant contract in the amount of $228,000 and authorize court administrator to utilize DocuSign to sign the same. Okay, we have the court administrator, Carrie Curtis here.
I'm here. Good morning. So
Morning.
you've already seen this. It probably is familiar. We were on the last agenda, and we opted for some reasons to not go to the board that night. So we were advised we needed to bring it back through committee. So that's why we're here today.
And we did discuss this in length, I think, the last time, so. Yeah, I really don't have any further questions as to this. We've seen it previous years and we talked about this last meeting, so. I don't have any questions.
Right. I remember a lot of discussion. Has the budget changed or request changed all from last committee?
There are absolutely zero changes to any of the programs from the last committee.
All right. Well, then if it pleases the chair, I'll make a motion.
So do.
All right. Move to consider approving the fiscal year 25 Swift Insure Sanctions Probation Program grant contract in the amount of $228,000 and authorize court administrator to sign next Tuesday upon approval.
I will support that. Like I said, we've seen this already before, so is there any more discussion?
Carolyn's on. Maybe she has something.
Carolyn, did anybody want to comment on this before we vote?
I do not have anything further.
Okay, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. That has passed. We'll move this forward to the work session, so. Okay, like I said, we've seen all these already. There'll be no changes from them, so, next up is consider approving the fiscal year drug court grant contract in the amount of $110,000 and authorize the court administrator to utilize DocuSign. And I believe we have Kate Mitchell here.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Guess you don't really need to go through your report again, unless you really want to. In practice, we will allow that, but. I don't
I'll
have,
skip the practice today.
okay.
Should be a short
Hold
week
on.
and all.
Yeah, so,
I'll move to bring forward the consideration for approval of fiscal year 25 adult DWI drug court grant contract in the amount of $110,000. Now authorize the court administrator to sign upon approval.
I will second that. Is there any more discussion here on the online there? I see no one's raising their hand, so we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. That has passed. And we will move that forward to the work agreement. Trying to keep up with the speed here, so. Okay, next up, we have consider. Let me see, which one did we just do?
Six,
Okay,
we're on six.
Yep, consider approving the fiscal year 25 fiscal year 25 juvenile drug court grant contract in the amount of $102,000 and authorize the court administrator to utilize DocuSign. So if anybody wants to make a comment on that, we will forward. If not, do you have any more discussion? Like I said, we've already.
I have a general discussion over these budgets, which is just to start documenting for our budgets. Like for the courts, all our budget requests for the state money is going up. And so it looks like our budget's going up. But in reality, well, and it is in reality going up, but the money is from the state and for when we're able to cover more things and it's not county money. And I'd like to start trying to keep track
Of the
of
grant.
the increases in these grant funds so that we can put out information that of our increase in our grant fund, showing our budget increases are not irresponsible fiscally.
Yeah, I think that we've often would like to have a separate category just for grants.
Right.
Because those are
Mhm.
monies that we
Right.
really don't have control of.
Yeah, for example, you know,
We
the sheriff's
appreciate-
department.
We appreciate the
Right.
money going up.
We
all the
definitely
time.
appreciate the money going up.
But, yeah, and I think we've discussed that several
Mhm.
times and I know it's more work for everybody, but it gets confusing sometimes of what
Mhm.
it's in the budget.
We could, even put on, not on our website, we have an increase in grant funds from the state
Oh,
of
yeah.
X amount.
All of these are in their own programs, so they're separated out from general fund. Now, I know that's not necessarily how people interpret it when they're looking at the county budgets. But there's all of three of these programs are separated out.
Yeah, it's you guys are doing great and getting more grant money is great, but I'm just saying diving out the information
We get,
when people look at it as a business and a total budget going up.
so when they
is a
see it or
problem.
when they see at their meeting, we're getting this grant and everything, they figure that this is part of the
Right.
budget, which it's not. In the court systems, when you try to explain it, how that's administration works and everything, they get a little confused because it takes a while to understand the relationship between the two of us and,
Sure. We're happy to help however we can in doing that. I'm pretty familiar with the line items and how they're all function within the court. So if there's anything I can do to help with that, please let me know.
I do want to make it a minimal effort. It's just kind of, pulling out like a sound bite, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, not a 20-page report.
Not a, yeah.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah.
dissertation.
Right,
Just looking for a
right.
positive.
And thank you for staying on for my extended discussion. With these items that we're reapproving here. And I'll move.
is there any more discussion or we already did that one? So
Yeah.
we're all set. I
All
think I hope, we'll close discussion and we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, signify by aye.
I
Whoops.
There's
haven't
no
made a
been a
motion
motion
yet.
yet.
Sorry.
Oh, I thought you already made that. I thought we were in discussion.
Oh,
Can we make
I-
it? plan?
You
yeah,
did
I-
a couple weeks ago.
It's gonna be one of those days.
what did they call it?
Sorry, number
Photographer
6.
says no, I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
I move to consider approving the fiscal year 25 juvenile drug court grant contract in the amount of 102,000 and authorize court administrator to sign upon approval of the Board of Commissioners meeting next Tuesday.
And I will support that. So we do have a motion on the floor. We will open it up for discussion. Is there any more discussion, Commissioner? Must have been something in the coffee this morning, I tell you.
I am on my second
Are you?
tumbler.
Okay, I'm ready to close the discussion. We're gonna vote on this, get it out of the way. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. That has passed. We'll move it forward to the work session. Okay, moving on. Item number 7, consider approving the subaward agreement and the amount of $21,000 between New York University and the County of Isabella for a period of October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025, and authorize the board person to sign the same. This is another item that we discussed during the last
All right,
board meeting, so,
I'll move to bring forward the consideration of approving the sub-award agreement in the amount of 21,000 between New York University and the County of Isabella for a period of October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025. And authorize board chairperson to sign the same upon approval.
okay, I support that. Any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. That motion has passed and we'll move that one forward, so. Okay, let's get right into the next one, so,
Thank you, ladies.
yes, thank you.
Thanks for joining
Thanks
us.
for,
I'm glad
even though we
had
did give you a
for-
lot of time to speak,
that.
we did mean to be rude, so.
Okay.
Anyways, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get on to some items that we haven't seen before, so. Consider. Yes, consider approving option 2 fixed annual and indexing service amount of the County Fusion Cloud Search renewal contract with GovOS for a 3-year contract beginning February 24th, 25 to February 23rd, 2028. And authorized chairperson to sign the same. And we have the Register of Deed, Karen Jackson, with us.
Morning.
Good morning, Karen.
Good morning. So this is a contract, we got very good terms for. The reason that I'm proposing option 2 is option 2 would save us considerable amount of money in the long term. As you can see, the option 1 has escalating terms. Year 2, the per doc fee goes up. Year 3, the per doc fee goes up again. Calculating our average per doc, knowing how this company, I talked to all the other registers. I know how they use their sales proposal methodology. They go off of the billing. They're not going off, they don't go back to the original contract, which I used in our favor because obviously last year our doc count was way down. So their proposal to us was on those lower numbers. They did get a new sales rep. They wanted to give us a different offer. But I said, no, we have an offer because we had to ask for in preparing our budget. I think it was April that I got the figures for this because we were trying to have figures in by May because we needed to know what our budget amount was. And I said, I'm sorry, but I have solid figures that you already gave me. And I've already notified you that we want to go with option 2. And that's what we put in our budget. And so they came back and said, okay, but that's a long time to wait for contract amount. And I said, well, you know, I made you aware of the fact that our budget didn't start over until October 1st. We had the millage in play. And so I told you we weren't going to go to the board until, you know, for approval of a contract until after that. So they agreed to honor this budget, this proposal. This is just a renewal. Several of the things are staying the same. They were very nice in that. We had very good terms in our original contract, better than the other counties that I know of. I don't ever tell the other counties what I have, but for some reason they like to be open mouth and tell me what they have. I have proposed to some of the other counties that we should get together and work together to try to get the best contracts for all of us, because I know which counties are coming to the table at the same time. We are, Mecosta is, Gratiot went with a different company, but we have Presqu'île. There's quite a few of us that are coming to the table right within 6 months of each other. And it just makes sense that we come to the table at the same time because that gives us a lot more power in negotiations. So something that working on in the future because there are reasons why a smaller county would have a higher per doc fee because, they are not able to pull as much money in that way. If you're asking for a lot of additional services, you're going to have, or changes in your program, you're gonna have a higher rate. I talked to one county the other day, instead of the 400, the website hosting, they're paying $1,000 a month in that website hosting. But I also know that this register asks for something continuously. And so in our office, my staff knows that if we want to change, it goes through me. If it's something that I go through our contract, and if it's something that in our original contract we'd already asked for, then we approach them and say, hey, this is something that we didn't get. And they give it to us, and then it's not a contract change. It's just them abiding by the original contract.
So how long have you been dealing with this company?
This company, this is our first renewal. We've
Oh,
been
this
with
is
this
first.
company for 5 years. The company that we had been with, the county had been with them since 1983, and then we made that change in 2020, and that proved to be immensely rewarding because there were so many things that this new company offered that we wouldn't have been able to do during COVID had we not switched the program. The old program was not, they didn't have anything cloud-based. There were just, the new program, you could freeze the stamp when we did what we called bag and tag. When we weren't able to process the documents when we received them, we had bags because remember, we were the office that were ordered to work. We weren't allowed to not be there. We had to be there, but we weren't able to. The process was you put the documents in a bag and you sealed the bag up and didn't process them for 3 days. You let them sit there because the belief was that, the germs were going to be gone, and then you handled them with gloves and a mask and all that. So we would bag and tag the documents for the day and the time that we received them and then moved on. So at that point, the old system would not have allowed us to roll things back. The system that we had at the time, the new system, allowed us to set the clock for when we received those documents, we were able to process those. And in the register's world, the receive date is the most important thing. That's when you receive that document. And that is the date that the court would honor. So if the document was ever to go to court, that's the date that the court looks at.
I'm trying to think back, when did we change our year end from October to?
It was around the turn of the century, wasn't it? I think it was around 2000.
Was around two
Or maybe
thousand?
the 90s.
I can look that up for you.
Well,
I
it
have that
doesn't
in
need to. I
the
just
book
wonder
of
why.
Finances.
Just wondering why this contract came up at
Late 90s,
Early.
maybe.
earlier instead of
Mhm.
where our normal fiscal, but it's only been in 5 years, so it would have been.
So it happens because of when the original contract was taken out, and that was way back in 1983.
Okay, that explains a little bit.
And so it was always 5 years. I negotiated a 3-year contract, a 5-year contract, because they have to consider how much the world changes in 5 years, and financially they wanted to up the rate. And so I asked them, well, what does 3 years look like? Because I think for us, financially, 3 years puts us in a different place also. And so by doing the 3 years, they were able to give us a much lower price than what that 5 years looked like. That gets us through, not, exactly where we would like to be. We'd love to have those terms forever, but at least that gets us through that hump and helps us out, so.
I'm done.
Nice job.
Curious.
We appreciate you keeping the heat on to keep the terms from May negotiations for this, for sure.
And I think that's all about relationships, having a good relationship with your vendor, our vendor and our salesperson. She worked very closely with us and helped us out with a lot of different things, when we had to leave the premises.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, I'll move to bring forward the consideration approving option 2 fixed annual and indexing service amount. The county Fusion Cloud Search renewal contract with GovOS for a 3-year contract beginning February 24th, 2025 to February 23rd, 2028, and authorize the board chairperson to sign upon approval.
I will support that. Any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. That has passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, item number 9, consider approving central dispatch restructuring request to eliminate a non-union grade 13 operation manager position and approve the additional of 1 POAM dispatcher unit. Dispatcher.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ted, morning. Oops.
Welcome.
Thank you. So currently we're approved for 15 FTEs in our budget. And after discussion with my ops manager and myself, we've decided to maybe do a restructure, eliminating the op manager's position that I came from after being promoted and reclassifying that to a dispatch position. Financially, it will save us pretty close to $50,000 a year in our budget by doing this. So I'm coming to you for the recommendation to take a hold.
And I see that we're increasing a dispatcher, so
Yeah.
hopefully less issues with scheduling.
Yeah, less issues with scheduling. Currently, we're scheduled for 85,000 in our overtime budget. We're hoping that to eliminate that as well, giving us more cost savings with more people in the seats
Mhm,
to cover sick time, vacation times. So
mhm. And
Well,
so, sorry.
So
For the chair. and then-
you're-
okay,
you're-
I was just
you're
gonna,
already-
so how would this affect your management operations? Will it have a significant impact on?
no,
I mean, I don't.
no, it's not gonna have any
Pressure on-
significant, no, we have 4 supervisors underneath our ops manager, which they will be able to carry the load if my ops manager gets overwhelmed.
Mhm.
But he informs me that he is currently okay
Okay.
and he's okay with his job, so he's not gonna be stressed and overworked.
Mhm.
well, we do appreciate the work.
We want to
goes
keep
into this.
everyone,
Yes.
hard to, hire and retrain.
I think it's important to keep in mind, these are fairly new positions too. Ops manager positions, maybe within the last couple of years, for
4,
sure.
I think 4 years.
So applaud the fresh eyes taking
Yeah.
a look at this and saying, this is what we need. And I think it's important to recognize if you find it's not what you need, you can come to the board and
Mhm.
and go back, right?
Yeah.
It's eerily similar to me to when I came on, being a little reflective this morning as administrative controller, kind of absorbed those deputy duties.
Mhm.
Maybe it didn't work out so well. So keep a good eye,
Mhm.
Yeah.
keep a good eye to that.
Right.
I
You know
will,
your department better than
Mhm.
anybody.
I will.
Yeah. And my questions are always just like, let's make sure we don't make this all just about money, because employees are valued as well. And
That's the
so,
most important asset.
Right,
In business
Yeah.
or county.
I mean, all right, I'll move to bring forward the consideration approving the central dispatch restructure request to eliminate a non-union grade 13 operations manager position and approve the addition of one POAM dispatcher unit, dispatchers unit dispatcher to the Board of Commissioners meeting this Tuesday.
I will support that. Any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor signify by aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. That has passed. And thank you.
Thanks.
I do have one request that I want to get it right. How do you pronounce your last name?
Well,
Geddes.
Geddes.
Yep.
Okay.
Geddes.
I always want to say Geddes, so, okay. I'll try to get that right. You might have to correct me 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
Eventually it'll
My
get there.
correction's okay. You're correct.
I know. I
Yeah.
need
All the
yeah,
time.
it's part of the routine, so. Okay, thank you. So, okay, next up, oh, we got you right back.
Yeah,
So
yep.
consider approving. I told you, it's been a long morning already.
Here he is.
Yeah, I was wondering why he didn't leave. Consider approving the fiscal year 2024 emergency management performance grant agreement in the amount of $8,937 and authorize board chairperson to sign the same. Okay.
So this is the EMPG grant that is federally funded, goes to from the federal government to the state government, then it's allocated out to the local jurisdictions through the state. This year, the money is $8,937. It's about 11% of what our coordinator position is. This is just the part, this has been going on for many years previous. So, yeah, you guys have seen this numerous times.
Is this the one that's like a
Year
8,000
behind?
and, well, it's a year behind, but like there's a ton of paperwork?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a pile of
this
paperwork to
yeah.
get 11%, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, well,
so just to let you know that I noticed the effort putting in for even the small amount, so.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. But yes, this is, like I said, it's been years presented to you guys.
yeah, we've seen this several times.
Yeah, you've seen it several times.
Yeah. All right, I'll move to bring forward the consideration approving the fiscal year 2024 emergency management performance grant agreement in the total amount of $8,937 and authorize board chairperson to sign upon approval.
And I will support that. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by aye. Aye, opposed, the same. The ayes have it, and we'll move that forward.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good one.
Now you can leave. I know. Keep things light today.
Yes,
Okay,
good.
consider entering into the third amendment to the medical examiner service agreement with University of Michigan Health Sparrow Lansing for the medical examiner service for a period of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025, and authorize the board chairperson to sign the same. This is the contract we see. I think you're gonna address this one.
I certainly can. I do want to point out too, we also have online, Dr. Michael
Oh.
Markey, our medical examiner. And, John Baker, John, I apologize, I don't have your title right in front of me. But I know, that you're from Sparrow. John Baker attended our RFP mandatory meeting. When we put the medical examiner services out for bid. So as you can read from my staff report, we've actually contracted with Sparrow for a number of years. Now University of Michigan Health Sparrow in Lansing, and we've contracted with them for our medical examiner services for a number of years. I brought the second amendment forward about a year ago. Remember, Sparrow had sent us a letter to say they were handling medical examiner investigators differently. I believe, and John, please correct me if I'm wrong, bringing those in-house as employees. And gave the county notice that might impact costs. So we did increase the budget in fiscal 25 and in the zero base We've got $170,000 budgeted for medical examiner services. We put this out for bid, late this fall, and, fortunately, University of Michigan Health Sparrow had a responsive proposal. They were our only responsive proposal, and, you can see their cost proposal in their bid packet. And I think we have that in here, maybe not. If not, we'll get that to you. But the services included, not just medical examiner services from Dr. Murphy, but also medical examiner investigator services. That's not something that the county is providing or organizing. That's something we want U of M Health Sparrow to continue.
I'm
to
sorry,
provide.
just so I can follow, the examiner, duties, that's something we've had in the past, though, outside the county services. I mean,
Yeah,
contracted.
yes, always
So it's
contracted. We don't
always-
have that staff on.
Right,
On our
Right.
payroll.
So
we
so
have
it
to
was,
contract.
it was contracted in the last medical examiner's contract, the examiner position.
Yes, and the MEIs and the
Yeah.
medical examiner investigators, I believe, and again, John, please jump in if I get this wrong. Sparrow had noticed us about a year ago that they had, I think, traditionally utilized contracted employees for the MEI services, but now we're bringing them in-house. I think probably due to federal IRS rules on contracted versus your own staff employees, but they noticed us a year ago. That's why we only did a 1 year last year extension. And they've come back with a greater price, as you can see.
Right. So since they're not contracting, they're bringing that in-house, our fees increase about 26,000 is what I have to boil it down a little bit
Sure.
more for me, sorry.
Sure. Yes, it is a sizable increase from current, but that is why, as I understand it, in part, why the sizable increase in their cost proposal from current. I do know Sheriff had some hopes of maybe doing something different with medical examiner investigators, although as you'll see, that was only maybe $6,000 of their proposal. And the medical examiner services are certainly the bulk at about 190,000.
Have, John here, is there anything you'd like to add to?
No, you got that all exactly right. Thank you.
Excellent. So I don't have a budget amendment for you today, but as the staff report does indicate, and I just mentioned, 170,000 currently budgeted, so it will require, if this gets
A budget
approved, a
amendment.
budget amendment, yes, to increase the budget by 26,000. I feel like, there was maybe revenue sharing that we have and a similar amount that we can, I think bring in to cover, but nonetheless, the board would have to approve that.
Certainly not a good time for a budget amendment increase at the beginning of the year.
No, but
This
it's,
is a service that we're mandated.
I
to
know it's a mandate.
provide.
It's- I-
We've only had one bid.
that's,
I'm not saying there are
Do
choices.
you want to go to school? It'll take you 7 years to get a license. So you can't wait.
well said, Commissioner.
Yes,
These
I
are
know.
services the county has to provide.
It is, and they have provided good services in the past, so.
Absolutely, they have.
I do read the medical examiner reports. They come in
So,
very good details and enlightening to
Mhm.
what's
Mhm.
going on in the county, so.
so I have no other questions. I wish it came a little closer, but
Right,
it's the option that we have right now, so.
that's why it's a budget.
Yes.
And I would mention, it is
Okay.
a 1 year amendment. Sparrow did come out with a 3-year proposal
Mhm.
in their proposal, so hopefully they're agreeable to the 1 year extension. This is a
Right.
sizable increase, so I think the county does have to continue to look at
Mhm.
it certainly weighing that with the excellent service we've been provided by them.
Right.
Yeah, I just, to comment on that, I was looking at the structure of the RFP and our response. It looks to me like, the way is clear for you to, award the RFP and ask us for a 1-year contract. That seems all in order in my look at it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any further questions.
All right, I'll move to bring forward to the Board of Commissioners meeting consideration of entering into the third amendment to the Medical Examiner Services Agreement with University of Michigan Health Sparrow Lansing for medical examiner services for the period of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025. Authorize board chairperson to sign upon approval.
I will support that. Any more discussions? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. That has passed. And we'll move that forward to the work session. So, any announcements? I have none. Okay, at this time, we'd like to open up the call to the public. Is there anybody in the public that would like to speak at this time?
I just want to say thank you to Mr. Baker and Dr.
Yes.
Markey. Sorry that
Yeah,
ended quickly. My apologies. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this morning. It's much appreciated.
Thank you.
Seeing no one coming forward or online, it looks like everybody's pretty well fluffed, so I will close the call to the public and adjourn the meeting. So, thank you.
Thank you.